When most people think about the AI revolution, they think of ChatGPT, or maybe Google Gemini, Claude, or Microsoft Copilot. Millions of people use these AI tools every single day. But here's the surprising part. The companies making the biggest profits from AI aren't necessarily the ones building the chatbots. In fact, some of the biggest winners are companies most people have never even heard of. Imagine the California gold rush in 1849. Thousands of people rushed west hoping to strike gold. Most failed. But the merchants selling shovels, pickaxes, boots, tents, and supplies became rich regardless of who actually found gold. The AI boom is following a remarkably similar pattern. Every day, new AI startups launch. Investors pour billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Businesses race to build smarter models. Governments compete to become AI leaders. But behind every AI chatbot, behind every AI image generator, behind every AI video, and behind every AI company, there's an invisible network of businesses quietly collecting billions of dollars. Think about it. Every AI model needs enormous computing power. Those computers need advanced chips. Those chips need specialized factories. The factories need incredibly expensive manufacturing machines. The data centers housing those computers consume massive amounts of electricity. And the cloud companies rent all of that computing power to businesses around the world. It's an entire economic ecosystem. Yet most people only notice the app they're using. They never see the businesses underneath it. That's why many investors aren't asking, which AI chatbot will win? They're asking something completely different. Who gets paid no matter which AI company wins? Because history has shown that sometimes, the biggest fortunes aren't made by selling the final product. They're made by owning the infrastructure that everyone else depends on. In this documentary, we're going behind the scenes of the AI revolution to uncover the companies quietly making billions. Some manufacture the hardware. Some build the digital infrastructure. Some provide the electricity. Others simply rent the tools that every AI company needs. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the real AI gold rush isn't happening where most people are looking. It's happening behind the curtain, where the businesses powering artificial intelligence are quietly becoming some of the most valuable companies in the world. But here's what makes NVIDIA's business model so extraordinary. The company doesn't need to know which chatbot will become number one. It doesn't need ChatGPT to beat Gemini, or Claude to beat Grok. As long as AI companies continue building larger and more powerful models, they all need enormous amounts of computing power. And many of them buy that power from NVIDIA. Think about a construction boom. One builder may construct apartments. Another builds offices. A third builds shopping malls. But they all need cement, steel, and heavy machinery. The supplier profits regardless of which building becomes the most successful. That's exactly the position NVIDIA occupies in today's AI economy. It isn't competing in every AI application. It's supplying the technology that powers almost all of them. And that's why, during the AI boom, one of the biggest fortunes wasn't made by building the chatbot. It was made by building the hardware every chatbot depends on. Microsoft, the company renting the AI factory. If NVIDIA is selling the engines, then Microsoft is renting the entire factory. Most people think ChatGPT simply runs on the internet. It doesn't. Every question you ask, every image you generate, every line of AI-written code requires enormous computing infrastructure spread across massive data centers around the world. Those facilities contain hundreds of thousands of servers working together every second. Building one modern AI data center can cost billions of dollars, and operating it requires vast amounts of electricity, networking equipment, cooling systems, and specialized hardware. This is where Microsoft found one of the biggest opportunities in AI. In 2019, Microsoft made a bold investment in OpenAI, long before ChatGPT became a global phenomenon. But the real value wasn't just owning part of an AI company. It was becoming the primary cloud infrastructure provider behind many of OpenAI's services through Microsoft Azure. Think of Azure as a giant digital power station. Instead of businesses buying thousands of expensive AI servers themselves, They rent computing power whenever they need it. A startup building an AI chatbot. A hospital using AI to analyze medical images. A bank detecting fraud. A manufacturer optimizing production. They don't need to build their own billion-dollar computing facilities. They simply rent computing resources from cloud platforms like Azure. Imagine opening a factory. Instead of buying land, constructing buildings, installing machinery, and hiring maintenance teams, you rent everything that's already built. That's exactly what cloud computing offers. And every hour customers use those servers, Microsoft earns revenue. What's even more remarkable is that Microsoft isn't depending on a single AI product. Whether businesses use ChatGPT, build their own AI applications, or develop entirely new models, many still rely on Azure's infrastructure to process enormous workloads. The more companies adopt artificial intelligence, the greater the demand for cloud computing. And cloud computing has become one of Microsoft's fastest-growing businesses. That's why Microsoft isn't just competing in the AI race. It's collecting revenue from the companies running the race. Because in the AI economy, sometimes the biggest winner isn't the company building the smartest chatbot. It's the company renting the computers that make every chatbot possible. And every hour customers use those servers, Microsoft earns revenue. What's even more remarkable is that Microsoft isn't depending on a single AI product. Whether businesses use ChatGPT, build their own AI applications, or develop entirely new models, many still rely on Azure's infrastructure to process enormous workloads. The more companies adopt artificial intelligence, the greater the demand for cloud computing. And cloud computing has become one of Microsoft's fastest-growing businesses. That's why Microsoft isn't just competing in the AI race. It's collecting revenue from the companies running the race. Because in the AI economy, sometimes the biggest winner isn't the company building the smartest chatbot. It's the company renting the computers that make every chatbot possible. Amazon, Google, and Oracle, the companies powering the AI cloud. Microsoft isn't the only company renting out AI infrastructure. In fact, 3 other tech giants are competing for exactly the same opportunity. Amazon, Google, and surprisingly, Oracle. Most people know Amazon as the world's largest online retailer. But Amazon's most profitable business isn't selling products. It's Amazon Web Services, or AWS. AWS is the world's largest cloud computing platform, providing businesses with servers, storage, databases, networking, and increasingly, the computing power needed to build and run AI applications. Imagine a startup with an incredible AI idea. Buying thousands of AI servers could cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Instead, they simply rent computing power from AWS and pay only for what they use. As more AI startups launch, AWS earns more revenue. The same story applies to Google Cloud. Google has spent decades building one of the world's largest computing infrastructures to power services like Search, Gmail, Maps, and YouTube. Today, that same infrastructure is helping businesses train AI models, analyze massive datasets, and deploy AI applications around the world. In other words, Google isn't just building AI. It's renting the tools that let other companies build AI too. Then there's Oracle. For years, Oracle was known mainly for its database software. But during the AI boom, it found a new opportunity. Many companies need high-performance cloud infrastructure specifically designed for demanding AI workloads. Oracle invested heavily in expanding its cloud business and adding AI-optimized computing services, making it an increasingly important infrastructure provider for enterprise customers. Now think about this for a moment. Whether a company chooses Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Oracle Cloud, they're all paying someone every hour their AI systems are running. The chatbot may become famous. The AI startup may become a unicorn. But behind the scenes, the cloud provider keeps collecting revenue every single minute the computers stay online. That's why many analysts describe cloud computing as the backbone of the AI economy. Because every breakthrough in artificial intelligence still needs one thing before it can answer a single question: place to run. And the companies renting out that digital space are quietly becoming some of the biggest financial winners of the entire AI revolution. TSMC, ASML, and the hidden factories behind AI. So far, we've talked about the companies designing AI chips, and the companies renting the computers that use them. But here's the question. Who actually builds those chips? The answer is a company that most people have never used, yet almost every AI company depends on it. TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Here's something surprising. NVIDIA doesn't manufacture its own AI chips. Neither does AMD. Even Apple and many other technology companies rely on TSMC to manufacture their most advanced processors. Think of NVIDIA as the architect who designs a Formula One race car. TSMC is the factory capable of building it with extraordinary precision. Manufacturing modern AI chips isn't like making ordinary computer parts. Today's processors contain billions of tiny transistors, each measured in nanometers. Building them requires factories costing tens of billions of dollars and years of engineering expertise. Only a handful of companies in the world have the technology to manufacture chips at this level. And even TSMC couldn't do it alone. Behind every advanced semiconductor factory stands another hidden giant, ASML. Based in the Netherlands, ASML manufactures the world's most advanced extreme ultraviolet, EUV, lithography machines. These machines use extremely short wavelengths of light to etch microscopic circuit patterns onto silicon wafers. Each EUV machine is an engineering masterpiece, containing well over 100,000 individual components and costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Without them, the world's most advanced AI chips simply couldn't be produced. Imagine trying to build skyscrapers without cranes, or airplanes without precision manufacturing equipment. That's the role ASML plays in the semiconductor industry. It doesn't build AI. It builds the machines that make AI hardware possible. Now look at the entire chain. OpenAI depends on Microsoft. Microsoft depends on NVIDIA. NVIDIA depends on TSMC. And TSMC depends on ASML. Every layer of the AI economy relies on another layer beneath it. That's why some of the biggest winners of the AI revolution aren't the companies creating chatbots that millions of people recognize. They're the businesses quietly supplying the technology, factories, and equipment that make the entire industry possible. Because sometimes, the most profitable company isn't the one creating the future. It's the one providing the tools that everyone else needs to build it. Data centers, electricity, and the real winners. By now, you've probably noticed something. Every AI breakthrough we've talked about, every chatbot, every AI image, every AI video, every AI assistant, depends on one thing: infrastructure. But there's one final layer of the AI economy that almost nobody talks about: electricity. Think about it. A modern AI data center doesn't just contain thousands of powerful computers. Those computers run 24 hours a day. They generate enormous amounts of heat. They require industrial-scale cooling systems, high-speed networking, backup generators, water cooling, and massive amounts of electricity. In fact, a single large AI data center can consume as much electricity as a small town. Now imagine thousands of these facilities operating around the world, every second, every day, training larger AI models and serving billions of user requests. Someone has to supply that power, and someone gets paid for every kilowatt consumed. That's why utility companies, renewable energy developers, power equipment manufacturers, and cooling technology providers have suddenly become critical players in the AI economy. Then there are the companies actually building these massive facilities. Construction firms, cooling equipment manufacturers, fiber optic networking companies, industrial real estate developers. Every new AI data center creates billions of dollars in demand long before a single AI model is ever launched. It's like building an airport. Before the first plane takes off, someone has already made money selling the land, pouring the concrete, installing the electrical systems, building the terminals, and manufacturing the aircraft. The AI economy works exactly the same way. The chatbot is simply the final product that consumers see. Behind it stands an enormous supply chain stretching across multiple industries and countries. And that's why the smartest investors aren't asking, which AI app will become the most popular? They're asking, which businesses will continue making money no matter who wins the AI race? Because history has taught us something fascinating. During every technological revolution, the companies supplying the essential infrastructure often become just as valuable as the companies creating the products everyone talks about. The real AI boom isn't just happening inside chatbots. It's happening inside factories, data centers, semiconductor plants, cloud servers, and power grids quietly supporting the future of artificial intelligence. And that's where some of the biggest fortunes of this decade may ultimately be built.